Good morning, student. Today we are going to learn about CMOS N-well fabrication process. After the completion of today's session, you are able to classify CMOS fabrication process, define latch-up, explain the CMOS N-well fabrication process flow. First, we start from the classification of CMOS fabrication process. So why we use CMOS technology? For less power dissipation requirement, CMOS technology is used for implementing transistor. So the CMOS can be fabricated using different processes such as N-well process for CMOS fabrication, P-well process for CMOS fabrication, twin tub CMOS fabrication process. Means 3 different processes are used to fabricate CMOS. So the P-well technology used where P-type diffusion is done over N-type substrate. Then the N-well technology used where N-type diffusion is done over a P-type substrate. But the above two methods have a limitation known as latch-up. To overcome the limitation, we use twin tub CMOS fabrication process. So what is latch-up? Latch-up is the low impedance path between power supply and ground. Latch-up generates excessive current due to which the entire circuit gets damaged. So CMOS circuits use NMOS and PMOS transistors to create the circuit functions. The parasitic structures create PNPN thyristor means ACR built up by NPN and PNP transistor. NPN and PNP transistor. In this diagram also we can see PNP and NPN transistor. Let's see the diagram. So let's see this diagram and notice two transistors means these two transistors NPN and PNP and their connection to VDD. This one is the VDD and this one is the ground. So their connection to VDD and ground supply. In a latch-up condition, the current flows from VDD to ground directly via the transistors, causing the dangerous condition for a short circuit. So this one is the equivalent circuit of the previous diagram. Means this one is the equivalent diagram of this. So here there is a path provided by the circuit from VDD to ground and the resistors used are bypassed and thus excessive current flows from VDD to ground causes. To avoid this issue, we should fabricate NMOS and PMOS by twin tub fabrication process. This one is the diagram of a twin tub CMOS. See the structure of this twin tub. In this structure there is a two well. One is the N well, another one is the P well. In N well we fabricate PMOS and in P well we fabricate NMOS. And this one, this N substrate, this one is the N type substrate and this has high resistivity. Higher the resistivity, lesser the current through substrate. On this N type substrate, another substrate is grown. So on N type substrate, a epitaxial layer of N plus type material is grown. This is having lesser resistance compared to substrate. So there is no need to go through in detail about the twin tub CMOS and latch-up, as they are not in your syllabus. Mainly we have to discuss about the CMOS N-well fabrication process flow. So step 1. First we select a substrate as a base for fabrication. So here we select a P-type substrate. Then step 2. Substrate is oxidized in high temperature. So silicon dioxide layer formed by oxidation process on the silicon substrate. This one is this blue. It is done by exposing the substrate to high quality oxygen and hydrogen in an oxidation chamber at nearly 1000 degrees Celsius. Then step 3. Apply photoresist on the surface of the silicon dioxide. For selective etching, the silicon dioxide layer is subjected to photolithography process. In this process, the wafer is coated with a uniform film of a photosensitive material known as photoresist. In the last class, we already discussed about the photoresist. As we know, photoresist are of two types, positive photoresist and negative photoresist. In positive photoresist, it is initially insoluble. After the application of UV rays, it becomes soluble. But in negative photoresist, initially it is soluble. When UV rays applied, it becomes insoluble, and generally we use positive photoresist. So here we can see the entire region is covered with the layer known as photoresist. Then step 4. Selectively expose the photoresist to the UV rays. So the entire photoresist is never exposed to UV rays. We expose selectively to the UV rays. So some part are covered and some part remain open to get the UV rays. So for that we use a mask. So this one is the masking step, and this rectangular area is the open area through which the UV rays pass through and reach at the photoresist. The other regions are not allow the UV rays. Next, after the application, then the step 5, the soluble photoresist is removed. So after the application of UV rays, what happened? As here we use positive photoresist, so it becomes soluble. So then we remove that soluble photoresist using some solvent or using some chemical. That process is known as etching. Then step 6. The exposed silicon dioxide region is removed. So after the removal of photoresist, that portion of silicon dioxide is also exposed. So that exposed silicon dioxide region after the removal of photoresist is also removed using the process known as etching. Next, step 7. The entire photoresist layer is stripped off. Means after the removal of silicon dioxide, the remaining photoresist present on the surface of the substrate, or we can say on the silicon dioxide region, also remove using chemicals. Then step 8. By using ion implantation or diffusion process, N-well is formed. As we know, in step 8 we add impurity to the surface of the substrate. As this region is open and the substrate is exposed, So in that region the impurities are penetrated into the substrate. So here we are forming N well, so we add impurities of N type. So when we add impurities, it penetrate in this region and form a N well. Then the last one, the remaining silicon dioxide is removed. After the formation of N well, the other silicon dioxide regions, means these regions are removed. So in this class we only discuss about the formation of N well, but in the next class we explain in detail about the fabrication of CMOS using N well on a P-type substrate. Thank you.